and welcome. So today's video is going to be all about some women who could have potentially have become the wives of King Henry VIII of England. Eleanor of Austria was born on the 15th of November 1498. She was the daughter of Philip of Burgundy and Joanna of Castile, and she was the niece of Catherine of Aragon, the first wife to King Henry VIII, who had been married to Henry's brother Arthur before him. Arthur died in 1502, but his father, King Henry VII, had kept Catherine in England instead of sending her back to Spain. In 1506, Philip and Joanna had been forced to seek refuge in England after their ship got caught up in a storm. While they were in England, they stayed at the royal court, and while they were there, King Henry VII opened up negotiations for their daughter Eleanor to marry his second son Henry, who, due to his brother's death, was now heir to the English throne. Through Philip, Eleanor had connections to the Holy Roman Emperor, which Henry saw as very valuable and would boost England's standing in Europe. The discussions around Henry and Eleanor's marriage were going really well, but then Henry VII became ill and the negotiations were hindered. By 1509, King Henry VII was dead, and the now King Henry VIII of England decided that he was going to marry his brother's widow Catherine instead of Eleanor. So negotiations of a marriage to Eleanor ended. Eleanor went on to marry Manuel I of Portugal, who was her uncle, after a proposed marriage to Manuel's son and Eleanor's cousin John did not work out. They had 2 children together, but Manuel died in 1521. Eleanor then became engaged to Charles III, Duke of Bourbon, but that marriage did not take place. She then married Francis I of France in 1530. They became engaged while Francis was being held in captivity in Spain. Eleanor died on the 25th of February 1558, aged 59. Mary of Guise was born on the 22nd of November 1515. She was the daughter of Claude, Duke of Guise, and Antoinette de Bourbon. After the death of his third wife, Jane Seymour, in 1537, King Henry VIII of England began to look for a new wife. He set his sight on Mary of Guise, but she was actually already being courted by James V of Scotland. Henry saw that by marrying Mary, he would be marrying into one of the most powerful families in Europe, and he would also be coming between the Scotland-France alliance. But Mary didn't want to marry Henry. She instead chose James of Scotland. They married in 1538 and they had one daughter together who became Mary Queen of Scots, but they had not been married long before James died. Mary remained unmarried after her husband's death, and she died on the 11th of June 1560, aged 44. Christiana of Denmark was born in November 1521. She was the daughter of Christian II of Denmark and Isabella of Austria. In 1533, she married Francis II, Duke of Milan, but their marriage did not last long, with Francis dying in 1535. After the death of his third wife in 1537, King Henry VIII of England was looking for a new wife. Christiana was known to have been a great beauty, but she also had brilliant political connections, as she was the niece of Charles V, Holy Roman Emperor. Henry knew this, so sent his ambassadors to negotiate a marriage to her. The artist Hans Holbein was also sent to Brussels to paint her picture. But Christiana did not want to marry Henry. She reportedly said, "If I had 2 heads, one should be at the King of England's disposal." Christiana married instead Francis I, Duke of Lorraine. She died on the 10th of December 1590, aged 69. Anna of Lorraine was born on the 25th of July 1522. She was the daughter of Anton the Good, Duke of Lorraine, and she had strong ties to the French and the Habsburg families. Hans Holbein was sent to paint her picture, but in the end, Henry didn't really take the possibility of marriage to her seriously, so it never really happened. On the 22nd of August 1540, Anna married René of Chalon, Prince of Orange. After his death in 1544, she married again and died on the 15th of May 1568. Amelia of Cleves was born on the 17th of October 1517. She was the daughter of John III, Duke of Cleves, and also the younger sister of King Henry VIII of England's 4th wife, Anne of Cleves. Cleves was seen as an ally to England, so Hans Holbein was dispatched to go and paint the pictures of the two sisters. In the end, Henry chose Anne to marry just by seeing her portrait, but Amelia was kept as a sort of backup in case things went wrong with Anne. But because Henry was so disappointed with Anne when he met her in real life, it was thought that putting her sister forward as an alternate was not really that good of an idea. Amelia never married and she died on the 1st of March 1586, aged 68. Catherine Willoughby was born on the 22nd of March 1519. She was the daughter of William Willoughby, 1st Baron Willoughby. Her mother was called Maria and she was a close personal friend to Catherine of Aragon. In 1533 she married King Henry VIII's best friend forever, Charles Brandon, Duke of Suffolk, when she was 14 years old and he was 49 years old. They married a few months after the death of Charles's third wife, Mary, who just happened to be King Henry VIII's younger sister. Charles died in 1545. Catherine was still young at this time. She was wealthy, influential, she was intelligent, and she had a sharp wit. Speculation started going around that if King Henry's marriage to his sixth wife, Catherine Parr, should break down, then Henry would choose Catherine Willoughby as his next wife. But Henry died in 1547 and he was actually outlived by his sixth wife, Catherine Parr, so this did not happen. Catherine was a strong Protestant, so when King Henry's eldest daughter, the Catholic Mary, came to the throne, she fled into exile in Europe and didn't return until Mary's younger sister Elizabeth, who was a Protestant, became queen. Catherine married, as her second husband, a member of her household called Richard Bertie. She died on the 19th of September 1580, aged 61. So those are the women who could have ended up becoming the wives of King Henry VIII. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.